Hello, I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and we're here today to have an update for all of you about a program that has been a very important part of how we in the county government are able, using access to federal funds, help all of our local towns and villages be able to access various things that help improve the quality of life in those communities. We're going to be talking today, give you an update on the Community Development Block Grant Program, CDBG. There's always an acronym in government. The CDBG program is a federal program that's established to directly assist local communities in solving some of the issues and problems of what they need. And as it has been structured, many of the larger communities across the country have CDBG programs where they apply for federal funds and get federal funds for a wide range of community improvement projects. Here in Westchester County, our larger communities, the cities of Yonkers, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, White Plains, all have CDBG programs and people within their city halls that apply and capture a certain amount of that money every year in a bit of a competitive environment. But for many of Westchester's municipalities, I've mentioned this every time we've had the conversation, there are 45 municipalities altogether. And when you X out the four largest communities, you have many communities that in size and scope don't have the resources to be able to put a grantsman on board or to devote the time and effort necessary to put together an application package. So a number of years ago, Westchester County as a government decided that it would create a countywide consortium program, urban consortium program, which different communities could sign into. They would have to agree with a legal agreement with the county to be able to enter the program, follow the program rules as set down by the federal government, which has its requirements. And then the county would take on the responsibility of applying for funds and then assist in that delivery of funds for very specific projects that were qualified under the program. That program existed in Westchester County for a number of years, but we lost it over a major dispute that we had with the Federal Housing and Urban Development Department back roughly 10 years, 12 years ago. We lost the program and we lost the ability to help local governments be able to access some of this money. One of the priorities that our administration took on when we came in 2018 was, amongst other things, to reestablish that program. It required us to deal with housing issues that the federal government was focused on. But once we were able to reestablish this program, then we were able to provide assistance for local governments, again, federal money being channeled through the county into local governments for local programs of value. I'm joined today by our Commissioner of the Department of Planning, Blanca Lopez, who is responsible in the Planning Department for organizing and managing the program. Blanca, please come here if you would. And she's going to tell you a little bit more about some of the specifics. It's important to understand that since the reestablishment of the CDBG program in 2018, in the aggregate, we've received more than $41 million of federal aid that's been awarded to municipalities across Westchester County. $41 million, and it's spread out over the different communities that have applied for very specific projects, and the projects are all across the board. We've seen a renovation of DeLuca Park in the village of Elmsford, Lyon Park in Portchester. Rye Brook Village was able to access a new community senior van. We have the Caritas mobile food pantry in effect in both Ossining and also in Portchester. Handicapped accessible ramps for Rye Town Park, and in numerous communities, sidewalk repairs, sewage improvements, senior programs. All of these programs are structured under the CDBG program, but without the county serving this consortium role as the organizer of the effort, this money would not have been accessible to the local governments in an easy fashion. This year happens to be the 50th year of the CDBG program nationwide. It was created as a response way back when of the federal government to move away from categorical grants of programs, lump sum that, and then make certain programs eligible, which became a more efficient way for local governments to access money. But the person who deals with this on an ongoing basis is our Commissioner of Planning, Blanca Lopez. She's been a part of our executive team since we began our administration. She has a couple of other assignments, but now in this assignment, this is one of the major things she's working on. And Blanca, tell us a little bit more about the program.
Will do. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. It is truly exciting to see how much work we have done with CDBG funds in the last 6 years since the relaunch, actually, in 2019. And what an appropriate time to do so as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of this successful program, which was enacted by Congress in 1974. Currently, there are 30 municipalities made up of 1 city, 6 towns, and 23 villages that are members of the Urban County Consortium who have access to these federal funds that are allocated annually by HUD and which Westchester County administers on their behalf. On May 1st, which kicks off the beginning of a new program year for the CDBG program, it runs from May 1st to the following year, April 30th, our membership will grow to 31 municipalities as the village of Larchmont will be joining the consortium. With the relaunch of the program in 2019 after a 10-year hiatus, over $41 million have come into the county to support a variety of projects that member municipalities and nonprofit organizations have applied for to provide benefits and services to close to 500,000 people who reside within the consortium. And these funds primarily benefit low to moderate income residents. Since 2019, CDBG funding has made it possible for children of all ages to enjoy new playground equipment in communities such as Greenburgh, Portchester, Elmsford, and Dobbs Ferry, for senior citizens and disabled residents to have access to safe and accessible transportation through the purchase of vans in Tarrytown, Briarcliff Manor, Peekskill, and Rye Brook, for residents, especially folks living in low to moderate income census tracts, to benefit from improved pedestrian safety with new sidewalks in Cortland, Hastings, and the village of Ossining, and for municipalities to address flooding with flood mitigation projects in Sleepy Hollow, Tuckahoe, Mount Kisco, and Mamaroneck. And not to mention that these funds have also been awarded to nonprofit organizations that provide services to residents living in the consortium with health-related programs, child care scholarships, eviction prevention, and foreclosure prevention funds, and funding to combat food insecurity that has overwhelmed many of our households in the last couple of years. $41 million that support the efforts undertaken by municipalities to improve the quality of life of their residents through infrastructure improvements, public facilities improvements, and housing rehabilitation. And through it all, the planning department has played and continues to play an instrumental role, not only in the work that the county performs on behalf of the member municipalities, but also making sure that the program complies with and meets with all of the requirements as mandated by HUD. I would like to personally thank the professional staff in the planning department who play a huge role in managing this program. We have professionals in our land use, environmental, and housing units who work alongside our municipality and our nonprofits with their funded projects, providing them technical assistance every step of the way. We have our professionals in our environmental unit that perform all of the necessary environmental reviews needed in order to get these projects off the ground. And we have our professionals in our administration unit who work on contracts and processing all of the vouchers that we receive from our sub-grantees in order to spend our CDBG funds. And my colleagues at the Housing and Community Development Unit who oversee the administration of this program. I would like to extend a special thank you to Kim Holland, John Estrow, and Terry Fleischman for their guidance and their hard work in the overall administration of this successful program. And we thank our sub-grantees, our members of the Urban County Consortium, as well as their representatives, which make up a group called CDAG, Community Development Advisory Group. And we look forward to working with them in the next couple of months as we roll out information and our application for our next 3-year funding cycle. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Blanca Lopez, our Commissioner of Planning. And as she mentioned, many of the people who are credited for their role to play, we have within our Urban County Consortium advisory group, Mike Mills, who is the administrator for the Village of Elmsford, who serves as chair of that group, and Rich Slingerland, who is the administrator in the Village of Tarrytown, who serves as vice chair. Both Mike and Rich are on the ground in these municipalities and they have a good handle on how to interact with the program and with those of us in the county to help make this happen. This is one of those examples of cooperation between multiple levels of government. It is federal money, but it is administered through the county and organized in a way that the federal government holds the county responsible in a singular fashion. And then we're in a position to then turn around to the participant communities within the consortium and then provide money for these worthwhile projects and these improvements that you see up and down the line. There's always a lot of discussion about a phrase that we've all heard, bringing home the bacon. And in government circles, what that often means is how much money can you get from some level of government? How much can you get from the federal government, the state government, I'm sure from a local government standpoint? How much can you get from the county government to bring home the bacon to help us with the needs that we have? $41 million of bacon is what this program has generated. And we have other programs and other things that we talk about from time to time here on a wide range of areas. When you aggregate it up, it's a significant amount of money from the federal and the state government that the county becomes essential as a partner in making this happen. The kids who play in the playground, the folks who enjoy the end product, get on the senior bus, don't know who is responsible for it. We don't name the buses after people or name the playground equipment after individuals, but we know that we're doing the right thing by using our efforts in these ways, and it's important for you to know that we're working closely with local governments. You read a lot about the conflict of government, the conflict in Washington and Albany and elsewhere, but what you're hearing in this is the cooperation between the county government, the local governments, our professional staff, those in elective offices, members of the Board of Legislators who have a role to play when they adopt the overall budget, and that cooperation is what's delivering us an end result. We have a video which we'd like to show you, which will give you a little idea of the grants process, and we thank you very much for watching this little excerpt. Do share it with friends if you'd like. Now, a video. CDBG, those four letters, stand for Community Development Block Grant. That is a program that the federal government has developed in order to give block grants for communities to do certain types of programs that improve their community development. They banded together to form a consortium, an urban consortium in Westchester County. The county goes to the federal government asking for an allocation of funds, and then the individual projects come out of those funds. The larger communities in Westchester County are eligible for allocations from the federal government directly. White Plains, New Rochelle, Yonkers, Mount Vernon. We had this program in effect 20 plus years ago, but we lost it because the prior administration had a battle with the federal government over affordable housing.
In 2010, the county had lost its eligibility to receive CDBG funding due to noncompliance with the HUD Fair and Affordable Housing Settlement. So for 9 years, the county and therefore its municipalities that are eligible to join the Urban County Consortium were not able to access much needed federal funds.
When we came into office, we set about trying to settle the aftermath of that housing lawsuit, and we successfully did that. They allowed us to reinstitute the program.
The municipalities were extremely excited to be able to have this opportunity again, especially because of the much needed funding that they have missed out on.
What we've done by reestablishing the CDBG program, the Urban County Consortium, is give a lifeline to local communities. That revenue stream is essential, and it does good things in a very specific way. I think we're somewhere over $41 million in the aggregate since we've restarted the program.
The number of member municipalities have increased from 25 to now 31, installing new playgrounds, purchasing new senior vans, addressing ADA compliance so that people in wheelchairs could actually have access to the beach in the village of Austin, access to child care scholarships.
It's not just delivering money, it's delivering a service. If a person is hungry and gets food from a mobile food pantry, if a person needs transportation, senior citizen needs transportation, and they have a mini bus that takes them to this event and so forth, it's not what you say, it's what you do. And if we can actually show specific improvements in communities because of this revenue pipeline, it helps reestablish faith a little bit in what government does. And that's what this program is about. So that's why we're very happy we're able to reestablish it and hopefully take it to the future.